The Verulam Water Crisis Committee has written to Deputy President Paul Mashatile requesting his intervention in addressing the water woes that have plagued parts of the community. The committee has bemoaned what they characterise as a complete lack of cooperation and communication from the eThekwini Municipality's management of water and sanitation services in solving the problem. Verulam Water Crisis Committee spokesperson Roshan Lil-Ruthan joins us for more. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I understand that as a community, you're fed up. You're saying enough is enough. Talk to us about some of the calls for concrete action.
Good evening to you and your viewers. Yeah, thank you for having us. Indeed, the situation is quite bleak once again towards the latter part of 2024 in parts of Verulam. What we find is that a few days prior to Christmas, large sectors of Verulam were left without potable drinking water in their homes. And we immediately sprung to action as the Verulam Water Crisis Committee and reported this via protocol to councillors in the area and to the representatives of eThekwini Water and Sanitation Management that are on a war room platform with myself and my colleagues. However, what we were met with was absolute silence for a few days. And this irked the communities because the communities were looking to us for answers, because whenever they turned to these councillors or these senior officials, they just again met with silence. So we then escalated the matter to the office of the mayor, and again, we were met with silence. And out of frustration, then my committee then tasked myself to approach the Deputy President once again and bring this to his attention so that he could intervene. And I want to respond by indicating that his office has intervened. They have referred the matter to the Premier of KZN, and the Premier of KZN has personally messaged me and indicated that he's directed the Mayor of eThekwini to intervene and to get his management to now respond to the crisis that's plaguing Verulam at the moment.
What would you say is exacerbating the crisis? I mean, the rampant leaks, I would believe, would be for one, and illegal connections in your community. But the bigger picture, where do you think the problem lies?
Well, to be honest, we don't know. And let me tell you why I make that statement to say we don't know. I personally wrote to the head of eThekwini Water and Sanitation, Mr. Edney Kumsweli, and I asked him that now that Minister Majodina has uplifted the water curtailment for eThekwini, why aren't we seeing any relief in the north of eThekwini, particularly in Verulam and the surrounding suburbs? Because what the water curtailment upliftment means is that greater volumes of water would flow through the northern aqueduct from the Durban Heights treatment plant to Verulam and the surrounding suburbs. Presently in my home, which is a part of Verulam, I don't have running water. And that was from the last 2 hours. And I'm getting reports of many similar suburbs around Verulam where water has stopped. Now, if the curtailment was uplifted, why are we having water stoppages? We should not be having that. Our reservoirs should be full at capacity. The aqueduct should be functioning optimally because the perfect amount of megaliters of water, which is around 320 to 340 megaliters, should be flowing to the north of Durban. And unfortunately, we find that that's not happening.
With Water and Sanitation Minister Phemi Majodina having temporarily lifted the water restrictions, I suppose, just listening to what you're saying, it's a far cry from the bigger long-term issues which need urgent attention. Because, I mean, do you think that it's possible that the water restrictions may have been used as an excuse for something more deeper?
Well, I believe that it was actually used for the tourism sector, and we've gone out quite clearly as the Verulam Water Crisis Committee and called a spade a spade. We've said to the eThekwini management, you've used the upliftment of the curtailment only for the tourism sector, that is for Durban Central, for the hotels in the Golden Mile and in Mshlanga, and obviously to supply Belito as well, where a lot of the tourism is directed. So the residents that should have benefited from the curtailment upliftment have not seen any joy or any benefit whatsoever from the date of the upliftment right to date.
What would be the ideal planning around this? I mean, what would you like to see happen? Your interactions with Deputy President Paul Mashatile, hoping, of course, for some solution to this crisis.
You know, what we're saying is that this crisis is man-made. It's not something that we have a water scarcity situation in our dams presently. All the dams in KwaZulu-Natal are presently sitting at 86% and above. Mm-hmm. The dams that feed eThekwini are around 92%. So there is no water shortage. The curtailment should not have been implemented. Rather, effort should have been spent, money should have been spent, and including human resources with engineering services to stem the leaks and the illegal connections in eThekwini. There are thousands of illegal connections, and we find that even with our committee having reported these illegal connections, mm-hmm. that to date nothing's been done about it. Like the area, Trennan's Park, presently that's plagued without water, there are rampant illegal connections in the area, and nothing's been done about it. Now, another town that's close to Verulam is Tongaat. Tongaat has its own waterworks and has a new reservoir. And I've just been given to understand by my committee members in Tongaat that there is no water in the Imona area. The reservoir is dry. And yet management are informing my committee members in Tongaat that there is no problem with the reservoir. So if there's no problem with the reservoir, why isn't there water there? So there's more than meets the eye. It's either the system is being deliberately manipulated to put the community in a situation of despair. And hence we wrote to the Deputy President to indicate that there must be a high-level investigation into these water stoppages in eThekwini.
Roshan, what about the possibility of infrastructure issues? I mean, we often hear, even here in Gauteng, that it's all infrastructure related and a pipe needs to be replaced over however many meters. Has anything like that occurred?
Well, if you look at the pictures that I had forwarded earlier on, and some of it has been displayed on your screen, mm-hmm. You look at this was an intervention that we brought as the Verulam Water Crisis Committee. We demanded that a new pipeline gets installed. Here's one picture now on your screen, where we indicated that this pipeline must be connected from Hazelmere Dam Treatment Works right to Verulam, and this was done. Now, this augments the supply of water from two sources. One now being the secondary source, which is Hazelmere Dam Treatment Works, and the main source being the Durban Heights. The Durban Heights has proven to be unreliable over the past few years. And with this new line now having come into fruition, that is the Hazelmere line, we should not be having water woes in Verulam, mm-hmm. because Hazelmere Dam Treatment Works is supplying Verulam with 5 megaliters of water a day. That is more than enough for all suburbs to have an adequate supply of water. But even with the secondary source, as I said to you tonight, I have no water in my home.
Hoping that you will get some sort of resolution to this very pressing challenge. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening and talking to us about some of your concerns. The Verulam Water Crisis Committee spokesperson, Roshan Lil-Ruthan.